The Fuji GA645 is a truly unique camera. What makes it so unique is its incredibly compact size for a medium format camera, and the fact that it's a point and shoot style film camera that shoots 120. I recently picked up a GA645 off Facebook Marketplace, and in this video I wanted to take it out, shoot a couple test rolls, share my initial thoughts as well as what I liked and disliked about the camera. The majority of medium format cameras are all manual controls and a lot bigger, and they usually appeal to the professional photographer due to the larger format. There aren't really any other medium format point and shoot cameras like this one, aside from any other Fuji GA645 variations. I've always liked the idea of shooting a point and shoot camera, but I've always just loved shooting fully manual and mechanical cameras. So I'm kind of curious to see if this camera will change my mind just because of the larger format. So let's quickly talk about some of the features and functions of this camera. First of all, this camera is fully automatic, but it does give you the option to put in manual controls. This means it has fully automatic exposures, autofocus, and film winding. It has a 60mm f4 lens, which is incredibly sharp, and it's about a 37mm full frame equivalent. It has exposure compensation, a built-in flash, and data imprinting, which I'll talk about later in this video. This camera is made out of plastic, so it is super lightweight, but it does feel quite solid in the hand. It uses two CR123 batteries, which are required to run the entire camera since the shutter, electronics, and everything are battery powered. One thing about this camera is when you look through the viewfinder, the frame lines are vertical or portrait orientation. You can kind of think of this as a medium format half frame camera, which is kind of funny. But in order to shoot a horizontal or landscape orientation image, you have to turn the camera on its side. With all that being said, I need to actually take this camera out and shoot a couple test rolls to make sure the camera works and get a feel for it. I decided to take an early morning drive out to the mountains in order to shoot various lighting conditions and scenes. Here you can see I tried to use the flash. It probably wasn't the best scenario to use the flash, but I wanted to make sure it works, and you can see it's powerful enough to fill in some of the shadows even during daytime. One of the cool features of this camera is that it has data imprinting, which means you can set the date and time in the camera. and it'll imprint it on the edge of the negative when you shoot a photo. This is unlike any other medium format that I've ever shot before. So my overall thoughts after shooting with this camera is I found it to be really fun to use. The lens is super sharp, there's no complaints there. Being a 35mm equivalent, I think it's a perfect focal length for everyday use. The meter is quite accurate. I don't think I got any exposures that were completely off. It's a very simple camera to use. I pretty much shot everything in P mode. It's so lightweight and compact, which would make it a really good travel camera, especially if you want to take medium format with you. That's one thing that I never really do too often, is take a medium format camera with me when I travel, just because they're usually so big and bulky. They take up a lot of space and we end up going hiking, stuff like that. So it's a lot to carry with you and a lot of stuff that you have to worry about when you travel. The autofocus is pretty decent, I would say. It is a little bit quirky. I did find myself having to double check mentally that the viewfinder reads about the same distance as my subject. So you can set this in feet or meters, and I feel like it did a pretty good job for the most part. Like I mentioned earlier, I think this would be a great camera to take with you traveling, since it's a nice lightweight and compact option to shoot medium format without having to worry about taking something big and heavy with you. I do have a trip coming up pretty soon, so I am excited to take this camera with me and see how it actually is for traveling. That pretty much sums it up for now. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you in the next one.